What up, Sandy? Taking my time to bring it in for the refop.
Where history is
So
made.
refop action.
We're cranking up the lights now, so everyone can see. It's all happening right now. We're gonna make you believe. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy. It's gonna be loud. This is our house. We do what we wanna. We'll blow the roof up. Everybody's coming. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to go down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to National eSTOL. We're here at Moses Lake, Washington, where we'll be in person, not virtually, on June 14th through 16th. But today, we're taking it eSTOL style. We're going to have a great time, a great adventure ahead of us as we have many competitions rocking on it, and looking forward to seeing just who will pick out the win. I'm joined by Burstix. Austin, you want to walk us through what we should expect today?
All right, guys. So today we're going to be watching some eSTOL, and we have quite a few surprises in store for today. We have an announcement to make, but we'll wait a little bit on that. But yeah, we should be seeing some nice STOL today. The weather's not too crazy like it was at the last event, where we had some 20, 25 knot winds. I think today it's a little calmer, around 7 to 10.
Yeah, we're actually showing 5 knots right now with a very low density altitude, just 1,672 feet. It's currently 61 degrees in Moses Lake, and as we know, that these live simulators are actually gathering weather from the internet, so we're actually able to have the actual weather that is in person right now, which is really quite cool. And as you guys can see, this event is all set up as an air show, which will be the first time that National STOL will be competing at an air show this year. Very excited to be live at an air show and share this with over 20,000 people in person. Our pilots are all excited. We're already getting tons of people signing up for the in-person one, the real-life one. And now we get to play here in National eSTOL to see what our sim pilots can do.
Yeah, I got a chance to get out to a real event and actually got to meet you, Eric. That was a good time. Taught me how to ride a one wheel and all that. So if you guys haven't been to
killed it.
Oh, I tried. If you guys haven't been to a real event, though, you have to try to get out to one, because I'll tell you what, I'm 33 years old. It was probably one of the best things I've done in all the 33 years that I've had here on Earth.
That's awesome, man. What a great reflection. It is an incredible community of human beings. And the one we have coming up just this next weekend will be in Pocola, Oklahoma for Arklahoma STOL at the Patriot Air Park. Really excited to not only have the inaugural event, but what may be our largest event ever. We're at nearly 50 pilots registered. And this is the first time we've ever been to this airport. In fact, this airport is brand new. This airport received its identifier just, I believe, 2 days ago. So this is all wild and new and exciting. But with that said, guys, we're getting started here with the touring class. We've got Tom Smith, we've seen before in his 2023 Wilga from Pennsylvania, U.S. Porter Chase in his de Havilland, I'm guessing that's a Beaver, from Seattle, Washington. Tommy Pizer flying a Wilga as well from Eagle Mountain, Utah, what a beautiful place. Mark Hawkins from Plymouth, UK, also flying a Wilga, and Brown Dog 942 from Southeast Kentucky be joining us in his Wilga as well. Very exciting times here to see these aircraft lining up and preparing for the green flag from our race control.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've seen the Beaver, so I'm interested to see how that's going to play out.
Indeed, it is a new aircraft for the series. It's an aircraft that's, it's a venerable airplane. If you think about a Beaver, you think about Alaska. You think about the places that these airplanes perform so incredibly well, strapping cans of diesel fuel to the side or avgas as necessary, oftentimes hauling moose out, whether it's on the side of the aircraft, on a float, or inside. Massive, massive airplanes indeed. And on the screen right now, you're seeing an incredible new livery. I'm not sure whose that is, but National eSTOL Wilga livery there. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, Anov made that for everybody to use. He's our scenery creator. If you don't know Anov, he does all this beautiful work, which is pretty cool. Anov actually takes the plans that National eSTOL or National STOL has for their IRL events. They're provided to him by National STOL, and then he creates what you're seeing here in the digital world. It's exactly the same as what you're going to see when you go to the real event, almost to a T.
That's super, super cool indeed. Just seeing how far technology's come since my days in Microsoft Flight Simulator 1995 and 2000. It's definitely come a long way, and I'm really excited because it was 98. Flight Sim 98 was my first, but really neat to see. There's that beaver.
Oh,
what a beauty.
Good. Still think about that about once a week, the fact that when you played Flight Sim, you were on keyboard and mouse, and I'm like, how did Eric do that?
What's funny is I've actually taught my kids to do the same, and they've got it locked down, man. They've done a great job. So someday we're going to find the right sponsor for National eSTOL that will provide us with some nice peripherals, and my children and I won't have to use a mouse and keyboard anymore. Oh, man. On the roll now, taxiing out to take the runway, taking our racetrack, this beautiful skull and crossbones Wilga. Looks fantastic. Love seeing all the new flags, the National eSTOL flags. We have to get some of those flags for the IRL events because those National eSTOL flags are looking really cherry. And one thing we definitely need to have happen at our events in real life is somehow, some way, I really want to get a painter that can paint those logos on the runway because they look so freaking cool here in eSTOL. And it makes me want to make it a reality. I don't even want to know the price because I know it'll hurt my soul.
There's someone out there that would love to paint those on the runway for National STOL. They would love it. They would come out there and get to hang out for the day and help out and paint out. There's somebody out there that would love to do that.
Is his name Austin? Because if it is, call him.
No, I'm not that good of a painter. I mean, I can draw a little bit, but pencil wouldn't do too well on the grass there.
Perhaps not. But guys, we're lining up right now. Number 97, Tom Smith, taking the line for our very first competitor, waiting for that green flag from race control, expecting it any moment. And as we continue to push this out, Austin, walk us through what you expect from today's performance.
Well, I see there's been a change. I think this was in the last event, but it's still a new change where we've actually switched the Wilga model out that we're using. So the 35 was with the 35-inch bush wheel tires. We actually switched over to the 29-inch bush tire version. So this is. It's not going to do as well as the previous Wilga, but I think we're still, because there was a bigger engine, 450 horsepower engine in the other one, in the 35-inch. But I think this Wilga is still going to do probably the best in the class. I would be surprised to see the Beaver take it, but you never know.
It's interesting. You're talking about changing tire size and the kind of effects we might find. Obviously, you change significantly the deck angle, the initial approach angle of that wing, and dropping the tire size that significantly will make quite a difference, a drastic difference, in fact. But there it is, the green flag we've been looking for from our friends here at National STOL. Just waiting now as he must be pre-flighting his simulator. Number 97, Tom Smith.
It's actually getting kind of crazy what you can do with some of the planes that are coming out nowadays. The bar is getting higher and higher where there's actually walk-arounds and other things like that. It's pretty neat to see that kind of stuff.
All right, Austin, and they're off. First takeoff of the National eSTOL from Moses Lake. Tom Smith, number 97.
Looking good. Now, Tom is in, you probably saw that video, went semi-viral, of Tom in his full simulator. He's got a full simulator that he made himself, so he sits in it, the monitor's all hooked up to it. And if he noses over, he's jolting forward, 15 degrees, which I think adds a little extra realism to the sim. But unfortunately, he's told me before, it was either that or like, you know, buying a Harley or some type of expensive motorcycle. So that leads me to believe the price on that thing, even for him to make it himself, was probably close to about $15,000 to $20,000. So unfortunately, all the simmers can't afford that kind of investment. Um, and
Yeah, the whole
hopefully,
point of this is supposed to be affordable, right?
yes, save money on gas, etc.
All right, our next competitor lining up to take the line, Tommy Pizer in number 71. Will got a little heavy on the brakes there. Dropping that right wing as he makes the departure. Looked to be a good bit shorter than the previous. We'll have results up here in just a moment from this first heat, who's taken to the skies over Moses Lake. Mark Hawkins now. Next, Wilga with that beautiful Ferrari. Mark Hawkins, National STOL bird, taken to the skies. I have to say, I'm looking for a new paint scheme for my Kit Fox, and that one's starting to look pretty attractive. What a cool
Yeah,
looking
that looks
airplane.
nice. Eric, have you seen what Parallel 42? Speaking of Parallel 42, down in that little sponsor window down there next to Tom's name, have you seen what they did with their Kit Fox? They added first company to add a flight sim company to add a competition variant directly tied to National eSTOL. They made it for us, and obviously everybody that has the Kitfox Complete package will get it upon the Sim Update 15 release. But it is really really cool. I'll have to dig up a picture of it so we can show it on the stream here to everybody. It's very very cool.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to see it. Obviously, I'm a Kit Fox nerd myself, and seeing what these sim companies are starting to do, especially folks like Parallel 42 who support us here at National STOL or National eSTOL in particular, it's great to see their creativity start to build out and see just what's possible in the sim space.
Yeah, Edson over at Parallel 42 is doing. Oh, oh wow, that was a little spooky there for Tom. I can imagine him, you know, tilting over 15 degrees to the side when he's landed on his right wheel like that. But look, he came down good, and everything doesn't look like anything's broken.
Definitely an aggressive landing. Looked like he dropped the right wing just as he crossed the line. That beautiful beaver now on approach. Porter Chase gets it down. Looks like it's safe. I'm not sure which line they're operating off of, so we'll have to wait and see from the judges. Really heavy into braking there, though. Nice control from Porter Chase. Or Chase Porter.
So Parallel
Chase
42,
Porter.
Chase Porter. I think it is Chase Porter. It's we'll get it by the end of the stream for sure. Parallel 42 though, man, they are going all in. They've got some really really interesting tools. I can't really talk too much about them, but they're going to be really really great for National eSTOL, for the pilots, for everybody doing the work on the judging and all that kind of stuff. So I do want to say thanks to Parallel 42 for really really showing up and doing that kind of stuff. Edson's been working really hard. Him and Kevin over at Parallel 42 really doing a good job for National eSTOL.
Really exciting to see these companies start to realize the potential of the audience for people who are just getting excited about STOL in general, whether it's eSTOL or not. Ooh, that one looked early. I'll have to get some.
May have been a
reports back
scratch
from race control. Yeah, it looks like it may have been a scratch there for Tommy Pizer. Mark Hawkins now, much higher approach. Looking to transfer as much energy through the gear as he can, or it's a go around, which it looks like it is. Airboss is calling a go around.
Yeah, even in the sim, very very much. It's much smarter to be safe than sorry, because we try to make this as, you know, as realistic as possible. So we have, you know, an air boss and a ground boss that do all the things that a real air boss and ground boss would do in the sim. It's really important to make this safe in the sim. I know nothing's gonna happen in the sim, but we want to make this as safe as possible so that way people learn good things while they're watching this. Nice stop there. Brown Dog. Brown Dog's relatively new to the series. He's got, I think this is his second competition, but he's really taken some steps to practice and get really good at what he's doing here. So we'll probably see some really good scores out of him.
Apologies for the issues with the microphone there. I think we got those sorted out on my end. Joys of not being in a production trailer IRL. I'm not used to fixing my cables and wires. Thank you, Tom, for always being on top of that. We appreciate you. But got it sorted. At least I think so. And we'll continue.
That production trailer, when I was, I got a chance to cast from it for a little bit, and that was amazing. Where I got to sit next to Ryan for a bit and talk at the Swamp STOL event. But that production trailer is top notch. So we're going to actually have that production trailer at Flight Sim Expo. It's going to be in the building, and we're going to have a live competition there. So our next competition after this one today is going to be in Las Vegas in person. Now we'll still have people competing, from the web, but we're going to have walk-up qualifiers and things like that where people can come and try different planes, and we'll be right next to Got Friends, another great sponsor of National eSTOL. So come on and
Super
see
excited.
us.
Yeah, that's going to be, hyper aggressive here. Almost putting it on the nose.
Saved it.
Mark Hawkins. Making it look a little scary, but that's all right, Mark. I hope he's not in a motion simulator because that one would have hurt.
I don't think he is. I think he might be in VR, though.
What percentage of the pilots today here at National eSTOL do you think are using VR?
I think probably close to 20 or 30% without knowing. Just out of hearing the talk, I think just about 20 to 30% probably. VR, it's pretty good, but you got to have a pretty massive rig to run, computer rig to run the VR successfully without a lot of lag or without a lot of frame rate issues. So I think the people that have the better PCs are running the VR. And then, obviously, if your PC is not up to that par, you'll have a lot of trouble with VR.
So I've got a 3090 in my PC. Is that going to be enough, or do I need to upgrade to the next generation?
Oh, I would think so. I would think it would be pretty good to run VR, but you wouldn't be able to run, ultra settings. But I think 3090 would run it pretty well.
See, what you're saying is I need to upgrade it. I'll let my wife know. We'll get that ordered.
All right, sounds good. Hey, order me one while you're there.
Right? Exactly. On the roll now, that beautiful beaver. I love the noise that thing makes. I've spent a lot of time in Alaska and plenty of time around beavers, whether they're on floats or not. These airplanes are workhorses for sure. And they do an exceptional job of loading up tons of gear and hitting the backcountry. But what's interesting about the Wilga is this is actually designed to be able to be an ambulance plane. So it's designed to be able to take a stretcher behind the front seats. Ooh, big drop of the wing there. And again, we talked about the wind conditions. We need to update right now and see where we stand.
Yeah, what are they looking like right now?
Winds are still showing as variable at 5 knots, so it shouldn't be that big of an indicator, especially with these larger aircraft, these very heavy touring class aircraft. We should not be having quite as much of an issue as we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and you don't. These are the Wilga, especially is the Wilga and the Beaver. They're both real good planes in the sim for bush flying. So if you're interested in getting those, they're both a mod for the Beaver is available on got-friends.com, and then the Wilga is available at got-friends.com. Don't forget the /Burstix, or you can use code Burstix at checkout, and that will let you know you came from the Burstix suggestion there, or that will
Absolutely,
let
guys,
let Got Friends know.
We have our latest results in now with Brown Dog leading the pack, a combined score of 333, just 9 feet behind him. Tom Smith with 342, Mark 394, and Porter at 441. Some impressive scores indeed. With Brown Dogs 333, really echoing our Isle, Minnesota competition where we had a live Wilga and was seeing scores that were similar. I believe his best score was somewhere in the 400s. Which, if you think about the size of the aircraft, just the absolute scale of this massive thing with a 9-cylinder radial, it's really quite incredible. And that's something we've come to expect from National STOL events, is incredible piloting.
Yeah, they're really so big too. Like in the sim, everything is to scale. You know, most of the good developers, which we really are picky about what planes we allow here in the simulator events. But you feel that, the weight in the Wilga really, you don't start to feel any real difference in the wind until up over 10 knots in the Wilga, because it is so heavy.
Safely across the line there, but very high. Obviously trying to use that trailing link suspension to his advantage, but giving up almost 200 feet there on the landing.
Right, he's probably just getting it dialed in. One of my favorite liveries right there, though, that skull and crossbones. I love that livery.
Definitely a good-looking plane. Here we have the beautiful Beaver on approach. Giant metal spinner on the nose.
Really good looking.
Across the
All
line.
right.
Good landing. Struggling to get her stopped, though.
Yeah. That's quite. That's the one thing about the Beaver is, it's not. I think we're going to see some changes to the sim. So to kind of, I guess, talk about it in quick terms. Basically, the ground in the sim is a little stickier than it is in real life. But when we see Sim Update 15, which is supposed to be coming here pretty soon, they've actually added in to make it much more realistic. And it looks like we have a scratch there from, I think that was Porter.
A scratch indeed, for sure. It's interesting, too, not only the sim updates, but also the updates that pilots are making to their aircraft in real life. We see guys like Steve, who is taking a standard aircraft brake and putting on his highly modified Highlander, and now has created an 8-puck braking system very similar to what you'd find on a 747. Carbon ceramic 8-puck system, which allows him to stop in incredibly short distances. I think his best landing last year was 21 feet. Somewhere in that range. Across the line.
And gets it stopped. Brown Dog's in first place right now with 333 foot total. Pretty good. Yeah, he's he's the newest pilot, I think, in the group. Possibly Porter might be newer, but I'm pretty sure Brown Dog is at least one of the two newest here in this group. And coming out in the front of the pack, it's pretty interesting to see how someone new can get in so easily and learn this.
It is indeed. I'm looking forward to this update 15 to hopefully have less of the pogo stick look. I'd like to see a little more realistic bounces. Make it look real. Man, that livery is just stunning.
The only problem with it is it's only in multiplayer that you're going to see that. So like the pilots themselves, when they're in the cockpit, they're not seeing that bounce. And it's something to do with the way that multiplayer comes over through the server. So that's unfortunate. I wish we could get rid of that, but hopefully, with Sim Update 15 will fix that, or Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 is coming out pretty soon.
Indeed. And guys, anyone at Microsoft listening to this right now, if you're excited about what we're doing and you want to discuss some changes that might make this even more incredible to watch, please reach out. We'd love to offer some feedback and to do our best to bring the most entertainment and high-value piloting content possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll probably be making some rounds at Flight Sim Expo and talking to some people for sure. Eric, are you going to be there with us? Are you stopping in at all, or are you not going to be able to make it?
Unclear as of yet. The more you guys talk about it, the more I want to go. But I used to spend so much time in Las Vegas for a previous career that I kind of fell out of love with Vegas. So I've been avoiding it. My partner Tom, he and his wife have been managing all of our Vegas trips, and I've been very grateful because it means I don't have to go to the Strip. It's just fantastic.
I've never been to Vegas, so I'm kind of excited to go. But I don't really do much, partying or anything like that anymore. So I don't know. Gambling's not my thing either. So I guess good thing I'll be at the Flight Sim Expo, and I probably won't even really notice I'm in Vegas. I'll probably just be inside the whole time doing the old Flight Sim Expo thing.
Well, that'll be exciting times indeed. Kenneth and Melanie Wright say, this is awesome. We love STOL and Microsoft Flight Sim. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, feel free to share this video. If you're watching us live right now, or if you're watching the recording, share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, wherever you'd like. But we'd love to have you share it with your friends and help us build the community. Red Baron Modeling says he's never painted the ground, but he can use a can of spray paint. All right, hey, bring it on, brother. Let us know when you're ready. We'd love to have you. There's the volunteer form up at nationalstol.com. And if you think that you can make those beautiful markings happen, that would be the coolest thing ever at one of these events.
He's so busy. He's doing his flight training, and he's going for his A&P license at the same time. So Red Baron, if you're listening, I think maybe you're spreading yourself too thin there, buddy. But hey, if you can do it, we'll still take the help.
Looks like Brown Dog has improved their overall score down to 317 with Mark right behind 328, just 11 feet between them, and then 14 more feet down there to Tom in third place. Impressive performances by each of these pilots, consistently getting better and better with their scores.
Yeah, it's nice having Red Baron around because, on my regular live stream, having him around, if we ever have any questions about aircraft engines or, flight training, he's kind of got the mixed bag of both of those, a lot of both of those knowledges. So, if I ever have questions, it usually leads to like him. And so thanks, Red Baron, for all those answers you've given us over the last year or so.
Absolutely. Gamer Tiago checking in from Portugal. Glad to have you, sir. We offer these events both live in person with real aircraft and, like this one, in simulated aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim with pilots from all over the world. Make sure you click subscribe or follow wherever you're watching. We'd love to have you join us for more events.
Over on the Bursix TV Twitch, Quirt says, haven't been flying much lately, but dang, this looks fun. Quirt is the kind of guy in the flight sim. He flies a lot of airliners and things like that, but every once in a while, you'll see him in a bush plane, and he's always having a blast when he's in one. That's why I don't know why he doesn't do it more often.
Ooh, Porter getting it down just past the line. The judges are calling it under review. Unclear whether or not that was a scratch. If it was not a scratch, it was as close to the line as you can get. We'll check out the replay here in just a moment.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that was good. There was a little bit of server lag there, but man, I saw the tires. I saw where they hit. Unless the judges saw something else, I'm calling it. I'm saying it was good.
It's been called no line violation. It was good. Tom now taking the lead away from Brown Dog with a total score of 295, leapfrogging ahead there. Huge performance increase. And just like you called early in the match, you said that we'd probably see Porter struggling with his aircraft choice.
Yeah, and I mean, and I talked to Porter a little bit before the event. If I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure it was Porter because he's the only one in the Beaver, unless there's someone that was supposed to fly the Beaver and switched. But if I'm remembering this correctly, I talked to Porter, and I think they said that it really didn't matter too much about if they won or not. They just wanted to fly the Beaver, and I think a lot, flying the aircraft is half the fun,
Oh, absolutely. Choosing what you get to fly without having to have the economic impact of buying one or feeding one is always a good thing. We just saw a great landing, by the way, from Tom Pizer. He's DQ'd every other landing until now. So his third and final landing, really exceptional results there from Tom Pizer with a combined score now of 418. Tom S. still with a 295, at least Tom Smith, and behind them, Brown Dog with a 317.
Oh, Markin with 280. I knew, he came in so good on the line. I knew that was going to be a good score, but I wasn't sure about because Tom's so close at 295 there. I wasn't sure on the stop if he'd get stopped in time. But man, it looks like we have a new leader.
Holy cow! 180-foot landing there for Brown Dog last time. Brown Dog, when he took off, was locked in first place, now in third. He knows he has to dial this in as close as he can get. You notice him really low. It could be a scratch. Ooh, I'm not sure if he touched or not.
He might have held that off. I mean, he was coming in so stable. The wind must be really, really stable today, which is, if you guys saw the last one at Patriot Air Park, the last eSTOL competition, man, the wind was all over the place. I mean, anywhere between 15, 25 knots, and it was just up and down this way and that way. Today, I think the pilots are probably happy that the wind is at least stable. Maybe they want a little more wind, but it's at least stable.
Huge shout out to one of our sponsors, Got Friends, throwing $500 in the chat. Guys, thank you so much. That money helps so much in these productions, allowing us to bring more and more value to the community. And we love seeing folks donating and getting excited and hopefully seeing business come in from the promotion that we bring you. We are so honored, and many, many thanks to Got Friends. With that said, guys, we have the final results. Mark Hawkins in first place in his Wilga with a combined run of 280 feet. Brown Dog is taking back second with that final run, combined score of 290. Tom Smith, 295. Tommy Picer, 418. And Porter Chase, 441. We will be right back in just a moment with more National STOL at Moses Lake.
All right, so we're back, guys. And I wanted to say with Mark Hawkins, he's been with us ever since the start. So he does all of our graphics for us, or at least most of the graphics. And we haven't seen Mark win a class in quite some time, I think. I'm not sure if he has yet. But man, the first place out of Mark, he must be dialing it in. It's really good to see someone here with us from the beginning. He's a busy guy, you know, and so he probably doesn't get as much time to practice as he would like. But man, he must have been practicing the last couple of weeks, because to see him come in with the first place, that's really, really awesome. So congrats to Mark on the first place. And then we got Brown Dog in second place, and he's new. He's very new to the series. So if you guys are out there watching and you want to get into STOL, but maybe you just have the flight simulator, you want to get into flying in real life sometime, but you want to start out here, come on in, guys. You can go to nationalstol.com/chat, and that will take you to the Discord. That's the Discord for the National STOL in general. So everybody from the real world, the sim world, we're all in there. So come on in, we'll welcome you in, and we'll get you trained up. Either me or ADK will get you trained up depending on what you need to learn. If you need to learn the patterns, if you need to learn how to fly STOL in general. So hit one of us up. We're more than willing to get with you guys and teach you some stuff. And I think Brown Dog is very well proof of that, where comes in and just gets a second place like that. I think it's only his second competition.
So cool to see indeed. And we got a great question there from Kyle asking about whether or not this is available on Xbox yet. And I'll let you answer that. But first, I want to let everyone know that the Backcountry class is coming. We can see on the stream now that Xbox is coming soon. Walk us through it, Austin. What's the situation with the Xbox?
So that is a question that we've been seeing since day one. It's been asked over and over and over again, and it's almost like the Draco question. If you're in the Twitch community for Flight Sim, you know that question gets asked all the time. When's the Draco coming? When's the Draco coming? Well, we don't know the answer to that, but we can tell you that the Xbox is soon to be getting very first scenery. We've been working really, really hard. Big shout out to Microsoft for fast tracking us through. Big shout out to Got Friends for helping us with that. It was all in conjunction with those two names I just mentioned. And then Anov creating the beautiful scenery and getting his account ready. So yeah, it's going to be there. I think the date Did it say the date on there? Can we switch back to that real quick? The
It did
Xbox.
not say the date. It did mention that it's going to be available to test at the Flight Sim Expo, FSE. No date on it, so it'll be in time for Flight Sim Expo.
So let's stick with that. It'll be out at least in time for the Flight Sim Expo, and then finally our Xbox guys can get in at least to some of the competitions as we release. But I'm sure we'll be getting all of them released out there for you guys. But dude, it's been a long road. We're so happy to get this out to Xbox because we know Xbox is a big part of Flight Sim. I mean, it's estimated to be about 70% of the Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Simulator community anyway. So Xbox has been huge. We've been working on this every day since Anov and I started this from, nothing back in June or so of 2023. We've been working on it every day to get it onto Xbox, and finally it's here. So let's go. Let's hear it for Xbox guys. Much love to the Xboxers.
Indeed, and as we are enjoying talking about Xboxes, we've got a beautiful backcountry class sponsored by Flight Simulation Association. Victor Wasser in the 1953 Cessna 170B, followed by Byron Bowman, also in a 170B, and Josh Aether, I'm not sure how that goes, in his Aviat Husky. This is a head-to-head like we've been waiting for. This could be one of the most competitive classes in the series, with aircraft that are dissimilar but have incredibly similar performance numbers. Right now, looking at the winds, variable 5 knots. Currently, density altitude 1,672 feet. We've got some great weather for these guys. On the roll now, green flag. Victor Wasser really locking the brakes up, pushing the nose forward. Hyper aggressive. Nice balance and control. And away he goes. Watch for the flaps to come in along with the AOA, and is off the ground. Great first takeoff performance. Looking for updates on the winds. Got nothing right now. For some reason, ForeFlight's loading slowly for me. I'm still 47-minute-old winds. But Byron Bowman's on the line. Very similar approach to Victor. Brings the flaps in earlier, and looks like he leaves the ground a little later. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to wait and see the actual numbers.
Yeah, so Victor and Red Baron do a lot of practicing together. So like when I was at Swamp STOL, I saw a lot of these groups flying in together, a couple pairs, a couple trios, and things like that. So a lot of the real life guys, they fly in together, and it's pretty neat actually to see in the sim you have that same kind of thing where you have certain pilots are practicing with each other more consistently than others. So that's why you see that similar approach there, because they're both schooling each other on what they know and what they don't know, and putting that together and using it to their advantage.
Indeed. Brown Dog leaving a comment in the chat. Congratulations again. Indeed, Brown Dog. Great to have you here. Thank you for the kind words. I love seeing the sportsmanlike conduct there between competitors. That's very similar to what it's like in real life as well. And we saw a commercial a few minutes ago talking about Legend Cubs. And what you saw at Swamp STOL is a bunch of those Legend Cub guys come in together because they are all friends and they do all practice together, which is really fun to watch. Bit of a wide pattern here for a three ship. I'm sure that the air bosses are tightening that up for the next round as these guys make their way downwind into base.
I did my first practice because I don't do any of the like pattern practice. ADK and his guys do all that, and I went in and joined into my first pattern practice. And I think that's part of what makes it so realistic and so interesting for a lot of these pilots, because I tell you what, I mean, I did pretty good on my first one, but that was just luck. The second one, I had to be, you need to, speed up a little bit, etc. And I mean, man, that was interesting to see you feel it. It feels real when you do that pattern and they're telling you, hey, you need to speed up or you need to slow down. It's very, it was just really cool. So if you haven't tried it, you got to get in, even if you're not going to compete right away, get into one of those practices, because that was just very interesting.
Well, it's something that we talk about a lot at the National STOL events. We talk about the fact that this is just like flying around your local airport. This is nothing fancy. Yeah, we have an air boss that's up there on the chat. They're going to be walking you through, making sure that you keep the spacing you need to remain safe. But the rest of it is just flying around an airport, getting more consistent, learning how to dial things in. It's an important skill to gain. And as we see these pilots, 2 of them now lined up on final, we see a really interesting approach angle. Really going to come in here, get to that high alpha position. You'll start to watch the tail drop as the nose lifts. And this is the best way to land a Cessna 170 short, but it comes with a lot of risk. Your sight picture is almost completely gone. You have no idea what's in front of you, and it's often very easy to land before the line. But there we see an admirable performance from our first competitor in the backcountry.
Very nice. I actually
our second 170.
I had a little insider info right before the event here, and I'm not going to say much, but I saw a picture of a new 170B mod that's coming, and they already reached out to me to start the conversation about possibly getting it into the competition. So we'll see if it comes in or not. But it's got new wheels. It's got very, very nice looking. So we'll talk with the guys and see if we can get it in once it's ready.
Just watching that landing there, the landing gear went all the way down through the earth, making it look much like a Micah landing. Micah Lindstrom, who famously used to fly a Cessna 170B and recently sold it to buy an RV4 and to build something new and racy. He used every inch of the gear, tire, everything, every time. He would abuse the airplane, but get incredibly good scores because of it. Here we've got that Husky, really long rollout, but it was good across the line.
I like the Husky. I think this is the first time we've seen it. It's an older mod in the sim, so you see a lot of between 2020 when this sim came out and now, there's a lot of improvements. Just like we were talking about when Sim Update 15 comes out, we'll see some different ground features, and stickiness to the ground will be way better. But someone needs to make a mod for that Husky. I think I might do it. I've got a couple different mods out there. One for the Maul M7, and I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a mod for the Husky to make it a little bit better. Of course, I'll have to get it approved by the board, but I'll make it more realistic, so it'll be better for everything.
We'll talk a bit more about the Husky in just a moment, but first I want to talk about our results. Byron with a 270-foot combined score, taking the lead. Victor, who's about to take off or dive into the ground, one of the two, with a 279, and Aether with a 336. Mark Hawking says, that was fun. I was feeling the pressure on that last run after Anub announced on our pilot radio that Smitty did a great landing. Yes, the pressure is real. And just like the real life pilots, the IRL pilots, the sim pilots get as much information as they can. And you'll find pilots that push themselves just a little further, just trying to get that extra little advantage as they can. But a 9-foot separation between our two 170s is just fantastic performance indeed.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Mark. Glad to see him out there having fun and feeling the pressure. You got to feel the pressure to win, though,
Indeed. Pretty aggressive takeoff there with a bit more high alpha than we like to see from our competitors IRL. NorCal Rally X says, go Red Bear, a 9-foot lead. Yes, 9-foot lead is fantastic. Victor did give up a few feet on the takeoff there, pulling past the white line, about a third of the distance of his aircraft. Parallel 42 with 42 viewers right now live. Glad to see everybody. Don't forget, this is streamed both at Burstick's channel, the National STOL channel, and our Facebook page as well. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, we're all over the place. Wherever you like to interact, feel free to hop in and join the chat. We'd love to interact with you as well. And it's also on my own personal Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/aviator. So we've got all the different places we can. We have this pushed out to the world to try to help everyone enjoy what we enjoy. We love this flying thing. We love seeing people compete. We love seeing people push themselves. And we're seeing that here today with a 9-foot separation between first and second, and still 2 runs left to go in the backcountry class.
I think it's good to have it out everywhere, because some people are going to watch everything on YouTube. Some people are going to watch everything on Twitch. and it just makes it a little easier for people to enjoy things where they want to enjoy it. So we got about 20 over on my Twitch, but I'm gonna shout. I'm gonna give your channel there, twitch.tv/aviator, a shout out so we can grow your channel a little bit, and maybe we'll get to see some keyboard sim action coming on there pretty soon. Maybe you'll come do a group flight with us at some point. We would love to have you if you ever get a chance. I know
I
you're
would
busy.
love that. It's funny. I used Twitch a lifetime ago. I was heavy into the Call of Duty scene. I know that's kind of a weird thing to admit, but
I
at
was
one
too
point,
at one point.
I was one of the. Well, I was one of the earliest Twitch partners. I was at the first TwitchCon when there was, like 70 of us in the room, and it's just wild how different the world has become. Back then, it was Justin.tv, and it's neat to see.
I remember that.
It's really cool to see.
Did you, way back then, did you ever get into SOCOM battles, which then turned into game battles, which is now actually defunct?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, nice. I was on game battles. I was 737th in the world at one point, so I was a big Call of Duty nerd. All those points were from Call of Duty, cumulative.
That's
so
awesome.
I was a big Call of Duty nerd too. So don't worry about that.
I still play. I got some wins in this morning. All part of it. Nice landing there from Victor. Galaxy Man, thank you so much for the invitation, my friend. I'd love to join you guys. I've got this beautiful PC and a 49-inch monitor. I need to go out and get some peripherals to actually enjoy it. Second 170 on approach. Byron, the current leader. Victor takes the lead with a 225 combined score. Byron's going to be hard pressed to get that thing stopped in time. Ooh. He had a 107-foot takeoff, which is 10 feet shorter than he had last time. But Victor throwing down the gauntlet with a 225 combined score.
Now, just so everybody knows that's not, that may not be familiar with the flight sim, when you see the wheels going through the ground like that, the pilots don't actually experience that. That is just it's kind of like a disconnection type of issue for multiplayer. So the pilots are, they're not seeing any of that. And we would hope that we can get that fixed and find some way to get that fixed for the planes in the flight simulator. But I'm not too sure if it's a per plane issue or if it's in general just a sim connection issue. It looks like we have quite a scratch there. Wonder what's going on with Josh there. At least he's safe and on the ground.
Very good numbers on takeoffs there, 97 feet, 98 feet, back to back, but a long landing the first time. He came in low and fast, carrying that energy forward instead of down into the ground. That's the goal, right? We want to use the suspension and those big bush tires to take as much energy as possible out of the aircraft. And instead, he touched down smooth and rolled for 237 feet, this time DQing early, getting way before the line. So that will not be a judged round. Victor this time not giving up any feet at all. Those 10 feet or so he gave up, very reflected in his takeoff. 98 feet the first round, 108 feet the second. But a 117-foot landing is just fantastic.
All right, so not to bring up Call of Duty again, but I got a question for you. Multiplayer or Warzone?
Oh, I'm a Warzone resurgence these days, man. It's great. I have an almost 13-year-old son who gets to play with me, and we have a great time together. And it's really neat to have those connections and friendships that I've made through gaming throughout the years, and be able to carry those on into the real life relationships, both at events like National STOL. And I had a buddy who I met through Call of Duty who stayed at my house a couple of times and came out to Austin, Texas for lunch recently. And it's just, it's these, the relationships are out there. You just have to be open to them, which is great.
I got a couple friends like that from Call of Duty. I'll have to download it again because I played. I mean, you could ask my wife and she would probably tell you. That's all I did really as far as gaming went before I found out about the flight simulator. I used to fly a little bit in real life. I went to school to fly helicopters. I got about 26 hours, and then the school closed down, and then real life happened. I got a good job at etc. But I haven't flown in the flight sim for about 16 months or so now. I didn't really even know what bush or STOL was, bush flying or STOL was when I started. So the sim has kind of really taken me away from Call of Duty. But man, I'll tell you what, for a good 15 years or so, that was all I did. But I'm gonna have to get on there. And I heard that Justin Tisdale plays a little bit with you guys too. So I think I might have to get in on that.
Yeah, it's great to have our pilots like Justin jump in and play some games. I'm really excited to see as this eSTOL starts to take off and more of the pilots get involved and excited about it. I know that there's definitely an opportunity for them, for the real life pilots, the IRL pilots, to come in and fly airplanes that are built out in liveries that are just like theirs. I mean, Justin has an airplane that looks just like his Xena 750, which is super, super cool. So that said, guys, please know that you can join us at Microsoft Flight Sim, and also soon to be able to join us at Microsoft Flight Sim on the Xbox. Austin, would you walk people through the best way for them to join us in the Flight Simulator?
Yeah, if you guys want to join us in the Flight Simulator, if you're already in the National STOL Discord, just reach out to me or ADK or Tom, somebody on the Discord. But if you're not in the Discord yet, it's as simple as going to nationalstol.com/chat, and that would probably be the best way to get a hold of us and join with us. But we'd love to have you guys.
Oh man, it's too cool. I'm looking at the chat I have in my Aviator twitch.tv/Aviator. I see an old friend, Pantera. I haven't seen Pantera in ever. And it's CX7. Good to see you guys. Thank you for coming out to check out the chat. This is what I do now. This is one of my businesses. We have real life STOL events all over the U.S. where we take airplanes and we take them off and land them as short as possible. And thanks to our friends Burstix and Tom, we have this brought to you live as eSTOL through Microsoft Flight Simulator. So lots of craziness in my world. I'd love to hear from each of you guys. Send me a message. I'll reach out and connect. These are guys who are from a different life, from a Call of Duty life many moons ago. And it's great to see just the fact that, there's still, I think I have 6,600 followers on Twitch. And some of those folks still showing up to say hello. And it's definitely an honor.
That's cool. That's nice to see that blast from the past. It made me smile a little bit to see that you got people in your chat from a long time ago.
Absolutely. All right. So, big scratch once again. Really heavy there. Dropped it in. Looks like his right wing fell out from underneath him, getting in where he did not want to be. I mean, we saw that second landing. He scratched about 50 feet early. And mind you, phenomenal takeoffs here. 98 feet, 97 feet, very consistent. The second landing was a disqualification, but had he been able to get it across the line, it would have been extremely competitive. So that would have been a winning score. Byron, 198 in his third round. Exceptional performance here. This is your performance log. This is our winners for today. Byron Bowman.
Great. That's amazing.
198 feet overall. Victor Wasser with a 97, 117 for a 221, and 8 Josh with a 97 foot takeoff for 2 winning tournaments, and the other 2 being disqualifications. An incredible performance in the takeoff. Those are some of the best numbers we've seen, even in the IRL. When we see Austin Clemens just ripping those doing an incredible job with their Huskies. We started teasing it earlier. The Husky, this model is an older version. What's really interesting is that the Husky in general is one of the best all around, like in general, backcountry aircraft. It is as big as it needs to be. It's fast as it needs to be. Carries lots of fuel. It's a fantastic airplane. But with that said, guys, we're going to be kicking things over here in just a moment to our next class. But first, we're going to take a short commercial break. So join us in just a few minutes for more racing action.
Hey, it's Trent. Fly low, don't die. Come be my wingman and join in the adventure. Now available in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace on PC and Xbox.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here at National eSTOL's Moses Lake Celebration of Flight. We'll be live in person in Moses Lake June 14th through 16th. Come out and join us for an incredible air show and hours of racing action with some of your favorite pilots from all over the U.S. flying the National STOL IRL series. Today, we're flying the eSTOL series, and we just saw the Backcountry class competing. They did an exceptional job with some great numbers being thrown down, both in Huskies and in Cessna 170Bs. But what you all have been waiting for, without question, has to be the Unlimited series. This is the one that we all wait for. This is the one that in real life gets freaking crazy. 9.5-foot landings, we've seen them. 6-foot takeoffs, we've seen them. Today, we're going to see all sorts of wild abilities. First off, with Riley Wilson in his CH-701 Zenith. Rico Stoyer, we'll figure it out. With a 2021 Carbon Cub X Cub. Kat Blueflame in her CH-701 coming all the way from Great Britain. I actually want to go back here. Riley Wilson's here from Lethbridge, Canada. Rico's from Leipzig. Kat's from Great Britain. Norcali J is flying a Savage Carbon Cub from California. Pete C is flying a Kitbox Series 5 from the UK, and Luke Carrier is flying a 701 from Waynesville, Ohio. Absolutely love seeing that we have this massive diversity of pilot locations. You can't do this IRL, guys. This is something that is really special about this event, and really thrilled to be able to bring it to you all here. On the screen right now is something really exciting that we weren't supposed to show anyone, and we just found out we're allowed to. So Austin, walk us through it. What's going on with this picture?
Well, this is the newest model coming out when Sim Update 15 releases. Everybody that has the complete Kitfox will get this. If you don't have the complete Kitfox, you can always buy it, and then you'll get this on Sim Update 15 release. But yes, this is the very first plane ever made for National eSTOL, with National eSTOL directly in mind from Parallel 42. Now, it's a little bit different than the other models of the Kitfox that were in the sim. Those were tailored more toward, like the commercial you just saw, bush flying and things like that. Well, those are all still there. And but now you have this one where you've got a 45-degree flap angle, no cowling, so weight reductions all around, no camping kit, so weight reductions all around. There's a camping kit for the regular, bush model to go out, and it puts up a nice little tent and stuff in the sim, but you don't need that for competition. So the doors are removed, the brakes are completely redone for all the models. So we're going to see, I think a lot of people are going to switch over to that when it comes out. We'll have to wait and see to find out if it's going to contend with the 701 or not. And I think it will. I've been flying it for about a month now. I think I'm like the only person in the world flying it right now. Edson gave it to me a little bit early, I think, because we had a delay on Sim Update 15, but I'll take it. I'll fly it as much as I can until it does release, because it's amazing.
It's a beautiful airplane indeed, and Riley Wilson now has the green flag and will be rolling in just a moment. Winds from FAA weather are actually winds, quote-unquote, unknown, but the density altitude 1,790 feet now in Moses Lake, and as we've talked about multiple times in this broadcast, our weather is live, so we get whatever weather data is available through Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we get to fly in exactly whatever the winds really are, which sometimes makes for some really challenging conditions. We saw that in our last event. Austin, you want to talk about what that was like?
The last event, the winds in the last event were, oh man, they started out somewhere around 15 to 20 knots, and they ended up somewhere around 25 to 30. The last class, which was our Spec class, which is new to National eSTOL, where everybody flies the same exact plane, so it evens the playing field a bit, and kind of adds a different quality to the competition for that portion. But yeah, the winds were insane, and we needed wing walkers. We don't have those in the sim. That's something you guys can do in real life. We don't have in the sim, but someone needs to create a wing walker mod. If you're out there, someone create like a wing walker mod for us. That's kind of like a carrier deck operation, but they just, walk the wings instead.
I have been the guy hanging from the wings as the airplane's threatening to flip over before, and it's quite the job. But we've seen some great performances here already in the Unlimited class. You brought up the Spec class, and I wanted to share that this is something that Tom, my business partner, and I are actively working on for National STOL as well. The idea of bringing a series of airplanes. Holy cow, what a performance. Back to the ground. We saw that high alpha aggression there not pay off, coming off the ground and then stalling back into it 100 feet later. We've actually had conversations with our pilots, particularly pilots of Zenith aircraft, that even though it's a lifting body design, maximum deck angle from takeoff cannot exceed 30 degrees because we need to ensure safety because of just that right there. A stall happening that low can be catastrophic IRL, and we want to make sure that everyone stays as safe as possible. NorCali there really pouring it on in that Savage Carbon.
Really nice from NorCali. That's great to know, by the way, for the 701 pilots. So if they're watching or they watch this, well, they're not watching now because they're competing, but when they watch this back, that 30 degree.
I'm not sure if that's what the rule book says. It's basically it's been consistently, as long as it doesn't look too crazy, we're good. But if you get too crazy, we know what the edge of a stall looks like, and we want to make sure that we stay far away from that because we repeat this to our pilots every event during our safety briefings. Look, guys, this is not a slow flight competition. It's just not, period. It never will be. The most dangerous elements of flight there are getting too slow and those really tight pockets of safety. If you're getting within a mile an hour or a knot of your stall speed on approach at 300 feet, that's not healthy. That's not safe. That's how we've seen friends get hurt or die, and we don't want to see that happen ever at a national STOL event. It's super important to us. So we have quite extensive briefings beforehand. Oh my goodness, Luke there tried to get off the ground. We saw a repeat of his previous 701 pilot. Again, just getting a little too aggressive, a little too early, dropping back down and giving up another 100 feet. This is the balance, guys. This is the balance we talk about at every event, finding that element that you need to of what the aircraft is feeling. And it's much harder to do in a eSTOL competition than a STOL competition because you can't feel the airplane unless you're one of these pilots who has the full motion rigs, in which case, good for you.
And it's, I think a lot of them are probably still back at last event where they had these wins where they could take off and backwards almost, so I think they need to get used to the wins at this event because they're much more calm, which there's good and bad to that with flying in the sim, but the steadiness of it I think is better, but I think they just need to realize it's not that 20 knot wind this month.
Indeed, and we see that in the IRL events as well. Rocky Mountain STOL in Pinedale, Wyoming, for instance, we have a great event, a great time, but you're going from 2,000 feet density altitude to 9,000, 10,000, 12,000. It is quite extensive, and that's a big difference. You have to really relearn your aircraft. Looks like we have a go-around for our first pilot and another for our second. This pattern's a little full with 6 pilots. So they're working their way around, making sure that they stay safe. Cat going around as well there.
That communication there, they're all in a voice channel talking, and that communication there makes me want to compete. Honestly, the landings and takeoffs, that's fun, but I love that communication with everybody during the pattern. I don't know what is so interesting about that to me, but I just loved that when I did it the one time.
Well, I'll just say this, man. I'm all for you competing. I can keep the mic for you anytime I want to see you compete. I want to see you either take everybody down or lose terribly, like scratching everyone. One way or the other. You got to win or you got to be horrible.
I'm horrible right now. I was good at the beginning of this. When I started to come up with the idea for this, STOL events in the simulator, it was really only so we could do something on my stream and have a competition. Coming from the Call of Duty world,
Pete! Not only scratching but putting it on its nose. Aggression there from Pete. If you scratched, you don't have to stop that aggressively, Pete. I promise.
Well, the good thing is when Sim Update 15 comes out, you'll see no more nose overs in the Kit Fox. You'd actually have to land it like that. The sim right now in Sim Update 14, the sim right now, like I said, the ground is much more sticky than it really is in real life. But that's all fixed. So please, Microsoft, let's just have Sim Update 15 now. Can we get it today? I would really appreciate it. It's been delayed a couple times. Yeah. We love you guys, though. We'll give you the grace, but come on, let's get Sim Update 15.
Super short landing there from Luke Carrier, but it was a scratch. We'll have to hear back from the judges, but I'm fairly confident that was a scratch just based upon video feedback. If it was a good landing, that would be an incredible score for a 701, which we've seen some incredible scores in the past. I have another 701 now on approach. I believe this is Kat. Kat Blue Flame from the UK. Very nice and stabilized approach. Right here, she should be pulling those flaps in, starting to get the nose higher. Working her way down. I'd like to see her about half as high as she is right now. Apologies, this is Riley Wilson. Burst of power across the line. And heavy on those brakes, one of the things that makes the tricycle gear a bit more advantageous there, not going to be as likely to go on its nose. Riley Wilson, apologies for the mix-up there, a little graphical error on my part.
Nice landing from Riley. Now, with Kat, aside from this, the plane coming in right now, aside from her, because she's one of the ones in VR, and she's had some issues with VR working correctly, just on her side in general. Well, it could have been on multiplayer, but either way, aside from her few sim errors, she is, I think, one of the top points leaders in a very good STOL pilot in the flight simulator. So hopefully,
very cool, that's something we haven't talked about yet, is the point system. So just like National STOL, National eSTOL has an annual points race to become the national champion. Kat's going to love this landing, coupled with her 41-foot takeoff. This is an exceptional landing for number 69 or 84, depending on what you believe, the graphics or the simulator. One of the two is correct. Can't wait to see these numbers come in for what that number actually was, because that was an incredible performance. Currently in first, Rico with 129, NorCali J with 169, Riley W with 179, but Kat sweeps them all with a combined score of 113 feet, 41-foot takeoff, and 72-foot landing. Exceptional work again. I mean, you keep using the word exceptional because it just is.
And that's the Kat we all know right there. The Kat with the VR issues, we don't know what's going on with that. But if she's not having issues with her VR, she's probably gonna win. But she is, she's fanatical about eSTOL. I mean, she's been a fan. She's in particular one of the people who doesn't fly in real life and it will not be able to fly in real life. So she really appreciates the eSTOL, and she's been a big fan of all of you national STOL guys for a long time. So for her to be able to compete in something like this and be a part of it, I mean, it means the world to her. So she really takes this seriously and does a great job.
Yeah, you brought something up there that I think is really important to highlight, and that's just that this is a great opportunity for people who may not otherwise have the ability, whether it be physical, financial, location in the world, whatever it may be. This gives people the opportunity to compete in something and to fall in love with aviation, right? And not just aviation, but the community around aviation. And I have to say, the National STOL community are the best community I've ever been involved in when it comes to aviation. They're just the best people. And seeing the National eSTOL community start to build its own nucleus around you and around the rest of the team and people like Kat, it's just wonderful. And it creates that community that we all desperately need. And Rico here, currently in second place, 16 feet behind, is going to be in that community talking a lot of mad crap if he doesn't get a good win here, or at least get a little bit better score on landing.
No, he's in the Red Bull Cub. It's a newer base sim mod that everybody got for free when they had the Red Bull landing there on the Burj Al Arab. But he's got a livery on it. But it is that Red Bull mod, and it's a pretty good plane. I mean, it stops pretty short, lands pretty short. It's got nitrous, so unlimited class, that's okay to have the nitrous in. So I think it's a chance he could possibly take Kat out on this one.
We had a great question there from the chat asking about whether or not they have to stop before or after the red line. The red line is a misnomer. The white line they're on right now is the start-finish line. So keep looking at that white line. That's the one we're looking at. I'm not sure why the red line is there. Austin, perhaps you can help with that. Kat, though, again, very aggressive, dropping back down, getting the nose down. She had a 41-foot takeoff last time. We'll see what she was able to do in round 2.
You were asking about the red line. I must have missed that. Which red line are you talking about, Eric?
There's a red line right about the 500-foot mark. 300 to 500 feet that's in this art. I'm not sure why it's there, but someone
I'm
in the
actually
chat
not
was
sure
asking us
either.
whether. Yeah. All right. So there you go. The red line is just there to confuse us and you. Pay attention to the white line with the national STOL flags next to it. Great takeoff here from NorCali J.
Let me see if I can get an answer though. I know who to message. I know who to talk to.
You've got the right people. Victor saying just after the white line, we can't land on or before it. That's correct. Those are some new rules from the 2024 season for National STOL. Is no longer can you land on the white line. You have to be after it. So the red lines are distance measurements, like 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet. It's a quick way to see it visually. All right, I see you. That's a cool idea. I like cool ideas. Always trying something new here at National STOL. My partner Tom Wolf is, this guy is probably the most obsessive person on anything like this. He's awesome to hang out with because he really cares about it. Just after 100 feet there, now that I know it's the red line, we know that Luke Carrier came off the ground and did not come back to it this time.
Well, now we can use that to our advantage. Now that we see it, right? We know if they're landing around 100 feet or not. I like that idea. Maybe that'll come to the IRL National STOL. We'll have to get some red paint out there. Now, when I was at Swamp
STOL, how many
STOL,
cans of paint we go through so many cans of paint as it is.
I was just going to mention that when I was at Swamp STOL, I got a chance to, be on the field there while they were painting the lines, and it's a lot of paint. It really is a lot of paint. But you were talking about the community in National STOL, and I wanted to touch on that real quick. When I went to my first event, just everybody was so nice. Just having dinner, hanging out at the Airbnb with all the camera and media guys, and then playing. I think my favorite part about it was like just the setup. I got a chance to set up with the trailer and everything, and then I got to play guitar with Levi Noguest for like an hour. Him and I have the same exact guitar, a Taylor 314 CE, same color, same wood, and everything, just randomly. And I'm like, hey, I didn't bring my guitar, but it's like my guitar. So he even let me play his guitar, and he played somebody else's. So Levi's one of the pilots. He flies a Storch. I think he flew something different at that event, but that's how
super
cool.
this event.
Yeah, that's how cool these guys are. I mean, if you go to an event and you just talk to them, Dan Reynolds, he let me take a bunch of pictures of his plane. He even ran the flaps and ailerons and stuff because someone's making his plane for the simulator. He's another guy that's getting his plane brought into the simulator, and so I talked to him. And
that's super exciting.
Yep, it's going to be really good. It's a really good developer that's making it. They do share progress, so you'll have to find their Discord. I'm not sure exactly what the link is, but the development company is called CRZ, Charlie Romeo Zulu, CRZ Simulations. But it's
eyes up
really
now.
cool.
Let's look at Cap Blue Flame. Hang on really quickly. Oh, it's a scratch. Such a disappointment. Already has that great number on the board. That would have been a 50-foot landing. Great control, but it was a scratch. We saw
like a
another
go
scratch
around
coming
over
from
top.
Rico. Indeed. So CRZ is the developer of Dan Reynolds' Valdez Special for Microsoft Flights, and I'm excited to see that. Check it out as it comes available. But really quickly, just talking about volunteering at these National STOL events in person. Obviously, you got to experience that with us at Swamp STOL a few months ago, and we have over 400 volunteers throughout the year last year that help make these events realities. I'm a volunteer at National STOL. I've never taken a paycheck. I am there to try to promote this sport and build the racing series, and my business partner Tom is the same way. Someday we'd love to be able to make a living at it, but for now, we just keep pouring in our time, and we're so honored to do so. But in Pocola, Oklahoma, next week, we have an incredible event happening over Memorial Day weekend with, that's a close one. Very, very close. So anyone who's a National eSTOL fan or a National STOL fan, we'd love to have you come out to Arklahoma for an event. You can sign up to be a volunteer on our website, nationalstol.com. That gets you a cool t-shirt, some meals, gets you all set up with all your passes. There's nothing to pay for. We just love to have your company. And there's all sorts of jobs to be done, from being a line judge right next to all the action to taking tickets or selling merch. We are here to serve the aviation community, and especially the STOL community. We'd love to have your attendance. So check out nationalstol.com and click volunteer. We'd love to have you. It looks early. I'm not sure if he touched down before or not. That will have to go under review for NorCali, but it is a sub 100 foot or right at 100 foot landing.
Looks like we have one developer, the developer Bagaloo is in the chat. He's actually working on a 172 tailwheel mod right now. I think he just posted an update of it on flightsim.to, which is our place for freeware in the sim.
It's not LimeWire anymore?
No. Napster, no. Oh, that's where we got music from.
Oh, man. How you can tell I'm old?
I remember it, though, so you must not be much older than me, because I remember that, getting all my songs off of there, even sometimes movies. But, man, you remember how long that would take back then to download a movie off of, like, LimeWire or something like that? Wow.
Oh, absolutely. It was a whole different world. Bagaloo, I love your 172s, says one of the members of our chat, our AMP and pilot in training. Riley Wilson now taking the line for his third run. He has a combined score of 179 in his first run, a 68-foot takeoff, and it did not qualify in his second landing. He landed very early. Got Friends says, we will have a new toy for you soon to fall in love with. Oh, man, and we're excited for what you're bringing to us, Got Friends. Thank you indeed. And again, thank you so much for your donation, helping us bring this to life. Riley off early, much less aggressive than he was the first round. Rico in the Carbon Cub, the X Cub. Combined score first round 129, second round 167. Beautiful airplane. Kind of a mixed livery there between the Red Bull and his own thing. That Red Bull aircraft was significantly lightened, and they increased the power a lot for that Burj Khalifa push to land. Fun fact, though, that day he had a runway, I believe, 71 feet or 78 feet, something like that, that he landed and took off on. And that same weekend, Steve Henry had a 31-foot combined score for takeoff and landing in Wayne, Nebraska. Cat Blue Flame, last time with a disqualification on the landing, but current leader with a 113-foot combined score. On the roll now. Very aggressive. Flies it off the ground. Sub 50, it looked like to me, which would make sense since her first round was a 41-foot takeoff and a 57-foot the second time. Looks like Mark is asking John X or Got Friends to leak whatever he's preparing early. We agree, Got Friends. I mean, why not leak it here? Let us be the place that people get their news from. NorCal AJ. On the roll in the Savage Carbon Cub. Best score 169 so far. That looks like it may be his best takeoff. Former best takeoff was his first run at 77 feet.
That's one of the things I love about Got Friends, though, is Jonks is their, I guess you could say he's like the front man. He's the equivalent of their like lead singer. And actually, he came out to the stream last night. We do live group plays on my Twitch channel. So anybody's welcome to come. It's twitch.tv/BurstixTV. But Jonks came out there last night, and, you know, he's flying his secret aircraft. Now, we can't see it because it just shows up as a, you know, some generic model. But, you know, we can only guess by the performance of it. You know, so we're watching what it's doing, and we're all guessing, what kind of aircraft is this, you know? But I love that kind of stuff where, you know, the developers will come and join and hang out in the community, where as, you know, some developers don't really do that. You know, it's kind of the old school way. But the new school is Got Friends and Parallel 42, and a lot of those newer developers, you know, they're out there in the community. We love that. And thank you, Got Friends, for the $500 donation. That is awesome. That is huge. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Glad to have it. Glad to have everybody here in the chat live with us right now. Shout out to my friend Mike Tiffy watching on Facebook. Mike is an incredible producer. He does NFL, he does PGA, he does the Olympics, he does some incredible things. And I keep trying to get him convinced. He's also a STOL pilot and a paramotor pilot. So I keep trying to get him convinced to come out to a national STOL event with his super STOL and compete, because he's already won best aircraft at Oshkosh. So we know that he knows how to win. Riley here going quite long. It was 117 feet on his last landing that was qualified. We do have another go around here, but we're almost through with our first round of the unlimited class. This is a dream for me in IRL STOL, is to have an unlimited class that's bigger than every other class. I'd love to have, dozens of airplanes that are pushing the boundaries of performance and pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with performance. Looks like Cat Blue Flame now on low approach, getting things dialed in. Again, we'll see the flaps come in, the nose start to raise, power start to come in. There's those flaps. Watch the nose come up. The Zenith 701 is a lifting body aircraft, so it gets about 15% of its total lift from the fuselage. And that's a number that somehow is in my head, and if it's wrong, one of you Zenith guys, feel free to correct me. Oh, it looks like it might be good. If it's good, that's an exceptional landing. Her takeoff was 16 feet longer than her best takeoff, but that landing looks shorter by a good bit than 72 feet. Cat's clearing the runway. NorCali J now in that Savage Cub. It is a good landing for Cat and a good landing for NorCali. Cat B just moved into, well, stayed in first place, but extended her lead up to 101 feet. So 101 foot combined takeoff and landing for Cat. Really exceptional. That's the kind of performance that I know she has been waiting for. Luke Carrier now, much higher approach. There's all different ways of scanning the Cat. Do you want to come in with a higher approach and transfer the energy into the ground? Do you want to maintain that smooth high alpha for a longer distance? Ooh, it's going to be a scratch for Luke. You can see he's quite disappointed. He pulled that nose as high as he could trying to maintain, but just lost the lift and it dropped out from underneath him.
Yeah, Luke's in VR too. He came in and I think he won 2 competitions in a row as very first 2. And in the beginning of that, he was, him and I were chatting on Discord and stuff, and he was like, well, I don't think I'm going to do it yet. I'm not ready. And I'm like, Luke, I've seen you fly. You fly in the group flights. You're good. He joins in and takes, I think 2 first places right away. So I'm glad he came in. He's got the potential to really do well. But, it is a tough competition here. You got a lot of people in this class that are really, really gunning for it. The unlimited class, they go. Just a scratch there from Stewart.
Disappointing performance for him. I know that's going to be frustrating. He did not scratch his first 2 runs with a 129 and a 167. Currently in second place. Rico is 28 feet behind Cat. But that said, guys, we are going to be at the Flight Sim Expo, June 21st to 23rd in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you are excited about all things Flight Sim, make sure you check out the Flight Simulation Association. Both of these folks are wonderful sponsors of ours, as well as Got Friends, a great new production house for airplanes like these in Microsoft Flight Sim. That said, guys, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with more of the National eSTOL at Moses Lake. Here is your final standings for the beginning of the unlimited class. Cat Blue Flame with a combined score of 101 feet. Rico 129, NorCali 157, Riley Wilson 179, and Luke Carrier with a 192. That said, guys, we'll be right back. Talk to you soon. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're back here at Moses Lake, Washington in the National eSTOL Series, where we'll be live in just a few weeks, just under a month away, in fact. We'll be live with an incredible air show. This entire event is just going to be absolutely amazing. Really excited for Moses Lake, and I'm honored to be able to bring National STOL's fast-paced excitement to the crowds there. Over 20,000 people expected. The lineup will be incredible. We're already selling pilot spots and truly excited to see what comes from that event. That said, guys, our next class is one that I am truly thrilled for. This is the Spec class. This is where all the pilots have an opportunity to use the same airplane. And it all comes down to skill. It all comes down to exactly how they fly their way. This is the eSTOL Spec class presented by Got Friends. Today we have number 69 Kitty Cat in the 1970 172, Galaxy Man in the 172. The first one hailing from England, the second from Massachusetts, Zach Lobert from Hartford, Wisconsin, Victor Wasser from, I'm going to butcher Skoczkow. I'm going to butcher that one, from Poland. Victor, feel free to teach me how to say where you're from. Byron Bowman back with us from Kentucky, and NorCal Cali from California. Super excited to see these pilots get released. Let's do a quick update on our weather. Last time we saw it, the friends at the airport said the winds were unknown, and they still are. The density altitude still 1,793 feet. So unknown winds that these pilots are operating with. But we'll see exactly how they do. And apparently what's kind of happening here is a fuel check. Burstix, you want to walk us through? This is something we've never done at a National STOL event before. So if you want to walk us through what's happening on the field right now.
Well, so what happens with we have like set amounts of fuel. It's a little bit different in the sim because in the simulator there's no, you could put it on unlimited fuel. You could do this or you could do that, and so like just to make sure everybody's on the same page with each aircraft, they have a set amount of fuel for each aircraft, and 80K's done all the work on that to narrow that down to keep it a lower amount, but enough to make sure they have enough to do their 3 rounds with go around if needed. So they check everybody's fuel to make sure everything's fair on the same playing ground and things like that. Everybody's got fuel enough to make it around, etc. And
what's interesting is that's the same thing that the pilots do in National STOL as well. But generally speaking, they not only have to have enough fuel for their 3 rounds, but also legally have to carry a 30-minute reserve. So in a lot of these airplanes that are burning 22, 23, 25 gallons an hour, that's a lot of weight to be carrying around. So it's definitely an interesting thing to watch these pilots figure out exactly how much fuel they need and maintain that excess that's necessary. But before we get started with Spec class, I was hoping you could talk a little bit more, just in case people are joining us right now, about the Xbox scenery plugin and when that should be expected.
Right. So the Xbox scenery is, people have been asking about that since literally the first day that we went out to Johnson's farm, back before I really even knew Anna, before we knew National STOL, before I had come out to a real life event way long time ago. People were asking that very day, when is the scenery going to be coming to Xbox? And at that time, I didn't even know Anna, so I said, I don't know. I don't know if it ever will, because it's just a freeware scenery on FlightSim.to. But, all this development, Anov has been trying to get this out the entire time since him and I first started talking. I told him, hey, people are asking about this on Xbox. We need to get this out on Xbox as soon as possible. So we had talked to quite a few different people about it, and we decided to try to get our own official MSFS store account. So congrats to National eSTOL and Anov on getting that official account. And it's going to be coming out on the store before... or at least by Flight Sim Expo, so somewhere around June 21st or so, it should be out and ready for everybody to purchase. And maybe there earlier, so keep looking at the store, you Xbox guys, if you want to get in. And finally, you'll be able to get in. We're going to try to get all the sceneries out for everybody on Xbox, so that way they can join next season.
Super
I got a green
exciting
flag.
For that, man. We do have a green flag, and once again, guys, this class is the Spec class. This is 6 identical airplanes lined up with no performance differences whatsoever. These are all designed around the exact same model, so it can truly be the pilot who shines most. You'll see people who are maybe not as used to flying this airplane jumping in and putting their skills to the test. The flag is green. We're ready to rock and roll from our first pilot here in Spec class. I wonder if they know that the flag is green.
It's almost surreal, actually, to think about like how we started this, and just, you know, in a very short amount of time. It seems like it's been forever, but you know, I'm really proud of what we've done. That's amazing. I can't wait to see this scenery in the store. I'm gonna buy it just because. I don't, you know what I mean?
Noticing,
I already have it, but
might as well have it twice. I'm just noticing right there, Kitty Cat dropping her nose toward the ground and rotating, trying to get the weight of the engine off the ground as quickly as possible. Looking forward to seeing what that score was. You know, she's used to a tricycle gear airplane. Some of these other pilots may not be. There's definitely some eccentricities or differences if you're used to a conventional gear airplane. Galaxy Man now, soon to be on the roll. And he's off. You'll notice that the camera changes, sometimes the paint changes. Those are some issues with some skins, but not an issue with the actual aircraft itself.
yeah, it's one of those multiplayer things again. So it happens from time to time, but at least you know, at least if we mention it, you'll know it's not a different guy going down the runway every time, right?
We're just distorting reality, one of the two.
Yeah, or we get Red Baron out there painting really fast.
Victor now. Bit of a late pull here. That looks like the 500-foot mark, 600-foot mark. And now Byron Bowman. Go ahead, Austin.
I really like this spec class, though. It's nice. It's nice to have everybody on the same playing field. I love the aspect of everybody learning their own plane and having different planes against each other too. But the spec class just brings another element, and I hope to see that in National STOL. That would be amazing, to go to an IRL event and have the National STOL pilots, you know, going at it in a spec class like that.
Well, we have a unique opportunity with National STOL where we have over 60 million people watching our videos every year, but we have yet to find the right sponsorship partners to be able to help us afford to make things like that happen, because that's the dream, right? Have people bring out their own airplanes and have a spec class for invitees to be able to hop in an airplane and, you know, have a blast and prove what kind of pilot they are. There's a bunch of airplanes out there that we could fold the wings on and load up, you know, 5 or 6 semis and have a dozen airplanes that would all be the same plane out there performing at its best. NorCal, they're a bit of a late pull again. So he carried a lot of energy into the sky, and it was well past that 600-foot mark, which would be a maximum. But Cessna or anyone else that's in the industry, if you have an interest in selling a lot of airplanes, we would love to help you do it. Or if you just would like to be in front of over 60 million 35 to 65-year-old men that watch our videos, feel free to reach out to us no matter what you're selling. As long as it's ethical and moral, we're in. We would love to partner with you and help promote your brand to our masses.
So if you could, go ahead.
No, Kitty Cat got across the line there very nicely and stopped. Looks like it's sub 300 feet.
So she was practicing yesterday. One of the other Twitch channels where I got my start in bush flying from was the Candonians. So Kando took everybody out yesterday on did a little informal practice teaching and some trainings on the 172. Well, Cat was landing. The wind was quite a bit more yesterday, somewhere around 15 to 20 knots. But Cat was landing real short yesterday, so we know she's got her practice in. And I was able to make it out to that stream for a little bit. And I think some of these other people were out there too. So hopefully we see a lot of practiced up pilots. I know they're all practicing on their own too.
Victor had a 600-foot takeoff, getting it stopped much shorter. Still about the same landing distance, maybe a bit longer than Cat's. And Cat had a 343-foot takeoff. So her combined score right now, 587, currently in the lead. Going to be tough to beat Cat today in both the Unlimited and the Spec class.
So we got Trucker Becky out in the Twitch channel. That is NorCal's mom out here supporting and hooting and hollering in the Bursix TV channel for her son NorCali. So NorCali's won some events before, so we could see him take this class again. I don't know how much time he's got in this plane in particular, but just in general, NorCali's a really good pilot.
It's great to see family participation always. That's something that we deeply encourage. Whoa, getting after it, Victor. I don't think that was actually Victor, but that was wild.
Yeah, I think we just saw Victor take off. So what I wanted to ask you though is if you had to choose, just lightly, if you had to choose which aircraft in the real life spec class, what would be the most interesting to see from Eric Farwell's point of view?
It's a really tough question to answer, largely because the ideal need for it would be aircraft that could be trailered, so that they would be lightweight aircraft with impressive performance numbers that would not have to be flown from event to event just because of the cost.
Right.
But so that really limits the numbers. And then the second element of that is any airplane that we choose as the spec aircraft. Let's say we chose the Kit Fox, for instance, or the Just Aircraft Highlander, or any one of these airplanes. And we start promoting it, and we start promoting these airplanes to 60 million people, and we talk about how awesome they are, and we try to get people to purchase them and build their own. The reality is very few of the manufacturers right now have the capacity to produce aircraft in volume that they would need to. And so if you're looking out there at these single engine aircraft manufacturers right now, there's not that many that are making large volume at scale. And I would love to bring in like a Vans RB-15. I'd love to bring in a Kit Fox. I'd love to bring in any of these airplanes. But right now, the market that has shifted so much since the last time they were doing numbers like that, for most of these, I mean, Kit Fox and Just Aircraft are different because they have such a loyal fan base. They're still producing a lot of airplanes, but they can't keep up with demand. So there's a 2-year wait list for many of them. So there's definitely a balancing act. And I have some background in the manufacturing space, and there's part of me that wants to start an aircraft manufacturing company, but I'm done starting companies. I think I have too many, and I love it, but I love my family more. So it's definitely a cool question to ask, though, and I think that any of those airplanes would be amazing. The one that really intrigues me right now is the top rudder aircraft. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Yes, I've been seeing videos about that all over the place. I actually have one in the flight simulator, and I think when I bought that, it's like now I'm noticing these top rudder aircraft on YouTube, or they're they're marketing it to me because they know I bought it or whatever. But either way, I've been seeing a whole ton of videos, and someone bought that company, and now they're actually revamping it and making it more of a STOL / Bush type aircraft.
Yeah, so he's a great friend of National STOLs, and we've had conversations, and I think that something like that, an airplane like that, that's really focused toward just the pure fun of aviation, not necessarily the practicality or the, let's go fly around, etc. But it's definitely something interesting to see, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what happens next. But that said, guys, let's go through our current scores, because they are very interesting indeed. You've got Kitty Cat with a total score of 587 feet. Great score indeed. Galaxy behind her at 768, followed by Byron B with 1,001, Victor at 1,027, and NorCali at 1,179. Now, we oftentimes see these early scores are not as good as they might be later because the pilot's been working so hard to just get a score on the board to be able to get points in the series. And we may see a lot more aggression this round, although I'm not sure that we can see much more from Kitty Cat with their combined score of 587. Just, let's see, I have to math here, but that's darn close to half of NorCali's score. So really incredible flying from Kitty. Bagaloo saying, nicely done with the stock 172. Yes, thank you. Thank you indeed. All these pilots are doing an incredible job. Heck, I'd be thrilled with a 1,179 score for my 1955 172 that I used to own.
Looks like Galaxy Man's coming in just shy of 200 feet behind Kitty Cat. So he's looking pretty good. He might have a chance to win, but it's going to be hard to beat Cat. It's going to be real hard.
I think the right gust of wind may help as well here. NorCali has a heck of a pilot, and we've seen them do a really great job of putting on better numbers in other series. So I think it's anyone's game up till now. I know that we obviously have a great score there from Kitty, but there's still opportunity for everyone on the table. Currently second place, Galaxy Man on the roll. Starts to pull, waiting for that rotation. I don't see flaps in. Oh, there are some flaps in. Looks like 20 degrees of flaps. Victor looking to better his previous score of 1,027, which was mainly plaguing him because of his extremely long takeoff with 600 plus feet. Is going to get the rotation in earlier. We've got Ryan in the chat. Super Arrow, our normal announcer. I get to plug in for him on occasion, but Super Arrow, Ryan Dombrowski, asking when we're going to see a eSTOL to National STOL carryover. I can't wait for that, man. When we start seeing some eSTOL pilots making their way to GA, getting their pilot's license, and coming out and flying with this National STOL, that'll be an amazing day. And that's one of the reasons why we host these events, because we believe in general aviation, and we would love to see more and more of that. Byron Bowman there with another 600-foot takeoff, his previous 600 as well.
And from the simulator side, we want to help, the IRL pilots in a rainy day, or, a low visibility day, or a too windy day, or maybe just to save some gas, come and fly in the sim a little bit more too. So I think it works with both ways very well. And as much as the simulator's grown lately, it's so much better than it was back in like FSX. So if you haven't checked out the flight sim in a while, please check it out, because you'll be mighty surprised when you fly in somewhere like Idaho and you realize how actually beautiful the world is in the flight sim. But I think the first pilot that's going to be the transfer over from eSTOL to National STOL, I'm calling it. It's Red Baron.
Red Baron, we can't wait to have you, man. It'll be really cool to see. And heck, if you want to do some A&P work, I've got an RV6 in Arkansas right now that needs 2 new cylinders and an exhaust welded, so call me.
He's in Kentucky, so it's not too far, actually.
That'll work. Riley Wilson says he'll be in person at Moses Lake. I can't wait to meet you, Riley. Make sure you come up to the National STOL team. Say hello to us. Aggressive there from Kat. Getting on the brakes and stopping shorter than 300 again, I believe, or right around that 300-foot mark. Riley apparently is coming out as a volunteer and will be hanging with us, probably working in the scoring position. Riley, we love having folks come in from eSTOL. I keep waiting for Austin or Burstix to come to more events. We put him to work so hard, I don't know that he'll come back to another one.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but man, I'm still saying 33 years on this earth, and that was probably one of the best events or weekends that I've done, and I've done a lot.
Galaxy Man there looks like he gave up about 100 feet. His former landing was 280 for his best, but that camera angle was a little tough to see. His takeoff this time was 8 feet longer than the last, so he's already really going to be pushing hard there. We'll see what that result is in just a moment, but Victor is back on approach. Very low approach this time, which we've seen can be a bit challenging for us in a 172 type aircraft where you don't have the larger tires, you don't have suspension aside from the spring gear. Now we see him lifting up a bit higher, getting into that nice approach angle, get the deck angle right, working in the behind the power curve, and it dropping it out of the sky. Looks like it was good.
One of the Twitch.
Go right ahead, Austin.
One of the Twitch streamers that does a lot of flight sim in my channel, he's in my channel here asking about when is the Moses Lake event. I think Flights with Joel wants to come out and hang out at the Moses Lake event. So when is that, Eric?
June 14th through 16th is Moses Lake. So we'd love to have you, Joel, come on out. That'd be great. I just found out some more information as well that it looks like we're going to have 80K coming out to Las Vegas, as well as some other eSTOL folks coming out to enjoy the Flight Sim Expo. And Nat Slammery asked, what is the closest event to Jacksonville, Florida? Well, this year, the closest event was probably Swamp STOL or Heritage STOL, 2 of the events that we've already done. But look for more information on next year. We are looking to do some awesome events. We have a couple of possibilities in Florida. There's, of course, Gallatin, Tennessee. That's going to be coming up in September. Let me pull up the exact dates on that. That's going to be Music City STOL, October 11th and 12th. And Nashville, so not too far from you. And I will say it might be one of my favorite events. Like, Nashville was incredible. The community that came out, they brought out a giant screen. We had a Jumbotron with the stream on it. Just an amazing event, and we keep leveling things up there. We look forward to each event bringing more and more value. So definitely come out to an event. If it's within a 6-hour drive, I think it's worth it. And maybe even 10, because I'm about to drive 20 hours to the next event this coming weekend, and it'll be well worth it. All right, NorCali went around. Go ahead,
I want to
Austin.
go to the Gallatin, Tennessee one, the Music City STOL. I love Tennessee.
Oh, it's a beautiful airport, great facilities, really, really wonderful people. The only thing I could say negative about it is the company there that uses a Mitsubishi MU2 to deliver their medical supplies in the middle of the night. And anyone who knows the MU2 knows that it's one of the loudest airplanes you can think of. And I'm sleeping in a camper 6 feet from it. So it was a lot of waking up, but that's all right. Gallatin, not Gallatin. Gallatin. I will get this down eventually. Gallatin.
At least we weren't saying gelatin.
Gallatin, Tennessee. I think they'd probably they'd prefer that. Ooh, we've got a big scratch here from NorCal. So it looked. I could be wrong, but that looked like a pretty intense scratch, and it looks like Cal is not even going to stop for that one. There's absolutely no wind at all now. You can look out there and see that windsock just barely being tickled. We're ready now for our third round. Guys, let's jump into the scores. Kitty Cat's still in the lead with 587. Galaxy at 766. Looks like he had an improvement. Victor 947 with a definite improvement. Byron B 1001, again an improvement. NorCali still 1179 as their second round did not count. This will be our third and final round of the Spec class before you can come and watch us live in Moses Lake in June. In real life, we'll be looking forward to it very much. On the roll.
I just noticed pop up there Ryan Super Arrow. So Ryan, one of the National STOL announcers, said Red Baron, he'll be big time sponsored in no time. And that's one of the reasons why I said Red Baron will probably be the first crossover from eSTOL to National STOL, because he's doing his flight training, he's doing his A&P, he's doing well in both of them, and it kind of helps he's friends with Ryan. Ryan knows a lot of people.
Well, he'll be friends with all of us. Again, you guys have done a great job building a phenomenal online community for the eSTOL fans. And got the question from Ryan now for you. I'll drop the gauntlet. Which airplane should I fly in eSTOL? Any aircraft. I'm in for at least one comp. Heck yeah, Ryan. We may have to go to you live to announce, too.
I say we hook him up with the new Kit Fox. I want to see Ryan in the new Kit Fox without the cowling. Can we get that done? I think Parallel 42 can get that done.
That would be awesome. Victor, second takeoff 5 feet shorter than his first. Now on the line, powered up. You know, the 172 is a venerable aircraft, and as we're seeing here, it does not have the performance numbers we've seen from others, but he did get off before the 600, it looked like to me, which is excellent.
So we're going to have, if you guys are coming to FS Expo, Flight Sim Association, who puts on FS Expo, is a proud sponsor of National eSTOL. And we are going to be there live and in the flesh. We're going to have the National STOL trailer there, the actual broadcast trailer that Ryan and Eric, and even one time I sat in and did a little bit of casting at Swamp Soul. But so, guys, come out and hang out with us. We're going to have flight sim setups. Scott Friends is going to be there hanging out. It'll be kind of just a really fun eSTOL slash sim tryout type of space. So come on and hang out. We're going to have a competition. Got Friends will be there. You can try out all their aircraft, but we're going to have simulators at the event. And those are brought to us in part by Toby. So Toby eye trackers are providing the eye trackers for that specific event. And then Thrustmaster is providing the HOTUS. So those are two really nice and really big names in the flight simulator community that are sponsoring in part the Las Vegas event. So hang out, and definitely we'll love to see you. Joel, Flights with Joel, says he'll be there. So awesome, Joel. Can't wait to see you, buddy.
And we got some news back from Race Control. My business partner, Tom Wolf, who is a co-founder of National STOL and of National eSTOL. And he says, Ryan Dombrowski, you'll be flying the GB, sir. which I kind of love this. I kind of love that that's the feedback you're getting there, Ryan. I think the GB would be perfect for you. I concur. That said, very aggressive landing here from Kat. We see her diving it in toward the ground just past the line, gets it stopped early, 496-foot takeoff, which is tied with her previous takeoff, about 8 feet longer than her first. Her scores... I'm sorry, I'm reading Galaxy scores. Go right ahead, my friend.
So if anybody has ever watched the Mall Guy, he landed somewhere on the Columbia or the John Day River on a little tabletop, and so I had that made in the flight simulator, and it's like 500 feet, and I landed the GB up there once, so it's possible Ryan could still do pretty well if he has to fly the GB.
Hey, we gotta slow him down where we can, right? Galaxy Man now touching down early. Great stopping distance here from Galaxy. His takeoffs have been 488, 496, 496, landing 280, 270. This one looked even better than that. Could put him in the running for most consistent. But we have to talk about the winds. The winds are zero. Actually, zero wind right now, and absolute... I mean, guys, those conditions are some of the most challenging to put down a good score in because, yes, it's nice not to have the fickleness of the wind, but that wind really helps slow you down. Drag is good. And I would just say Austin Bagaloo is the one who was asking about it, so why don't you drop in a little bit more to talk about Bagaloo?
Yeah, Bagaloo does a lot of stuff on the flightsim.to, so if you're looking for some awesome bush planes to fly, and they're freeware, so it's a great place to get started, check out Bagaloo, Bagolou, and check out his profile on flightsim.to. He's just popped out a new update to his 172 Bush tail dragger mod. Very nice, so check him out. And thanks for being here, Bagaloo.
Yeah, glad to have you, man. Byron Bowman now. Bringing it in. It looks like he already landed. Nope, he hasn't. All right, still in the sky, across the line. Really getting the high angle of attack in. But again, these landings, if they look really smooth, chances are they're not very short.
So who's out there on Xbox? Guys, to the Xbox people, we have the Vegas scenery is going to be coming out to the Xbox. It's our very first scenery coming out on the official Microsoft Flight Sim store for the Xbox people. We've been trying to get this thing out here forever, and we finally did it with the help of a little fast tracking from Microsoft and the help from Got Friends to kind of relay that message. So it'll be here right around the time that Flight Sim Expo comes. So if you want to try that scenery out, come on out to Flight Sim Expo or pick it up from the store. Keep an eye out on the Microsoft Flight Sim store. And Xbox boys, you'll be stolen in no time.
Well, I want to talk about one particular Xbox STOL pilot. His name is Jeff Abrams. He flies the Piper Zilla, and his ability in that airplane is absolutely insanity. I mean, he is, I want to say something like 32,000 hours, maybe 40,000 hours of flight time as a commercial pilot. Overall, great guy. He flies helicopters. He flies it all. And he flies the Flight Sim on Xbox. He's been asking about this for months, so I'll be excited to see a crossover from National STOL to National eSTOL. With that said, guys, we have our results for the Spec class. In first place with a total run of 523 feet, it's Kitty Cat, followed by Galaxy Man, 719, Victor Wasser with 947, Byron Bowman with 1,001, and 2 feet behind him. Massive improvement on her part. NorCal Cali, love to see it with 1,003 feet. Guys, this has been quite the adventure. As always, we appreciate you being here. Go check out, I think that says got-friends.com. Yeah, it does say got-friends.com to see where you can find more ways to play with us in the Discord. You can always find out more information on us at nationalstol.com or nationalstol.com/chat for specific eSTOL instructions on how to join these competitions. That said, Austin, anything you want to say before we sign off for the day?
No, just thank you to everybody. Thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to the pilots and everybody out there in the chat that came out to hang out. And we love you guys, man. So, and one more thing. Don't forget, use code BIRTHDAY at checkout with got-friends.com to let them know you came from our suggestion. And we'll see you guys at the next event. The next event will be the Flight Sim Expo. And that's it. We're signing off. Eric, anything else from you?
That's the next National eSTOL event. But before that, next weekend, Pocola, Oklahoma for Arklahoma's inaugural event. Already almost 50 pilots signed up. Following that, 2 weeks later, we'll be in Moses Lake, Washington, what you're seeing right here, right now with our lovely National STOL R44s. We'll be looking forward to flying in front of billions of dollars of Boeing equipment and an incredible live air show audience where you get to see all sorts of aerial antics and entertainment. Make sure to follow us on social media, reach out, ask questions. This is a massive community of great, fun-loving aviation people. We'd love to have you. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. And once again, my name is Eric Farewell. I'm joined by Bird Sticks. It's a great day to enjoy some aviation. See you later.
See you guys later.
He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was a top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next day the cap went out and drafted a band. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A root, a toot, a tooty, a toot. He blows the 8 to the bar. In boogie rhythm, you can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar is playing with him. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
We'll be right back.